Hi, it's Jonathan Quayle again for another edition of the Lifebuilder Inspirational Quote, and today is a reflection. But first of all, an apology. I must apologize for not sending out a quote or reflection for the last few days. My server's been down for a few days, and as a result I haven't been able to send out emails. In fact, all my websites have been down, and so that's the reason why you haven't heard from me since last Friday. I think was the last time I sent out an email and did a video, which was an interesting lesson. So I had to look at my expectation. We expect that things should go right. We get upset when they don't go right because we have an expectation that things should be a certain way. It sort of was mildly amusing that what I'm teaching is forgiveness and letting go, and I found myself getting irritated, getting a bit frustrated because I just couldn't get the problem sorted out. So on a level we have to act. I had to do something to try and solve the problem. But it was interesting when I really let it go and just went, well, okay, I surrender, I accept it. If I have to move my hosting to another provider, well, so be it. I'll sort it out after I had a presentation to a company for running a mindfulness program today, so quite a lot of preparation went into that. And when I let it go, then suddenly the situation resolved itself, and got an email saying it's all back up and working, and apologies. And it was interesting because there's always a benefit that we don't always see. So I had to do quite a lot of work for this proposal, and if I'd been doing videos and sending out quotes and doing all of that in the last few days, I'm not sure I would have managed to get the proposal done, because literally finished it and got some stuff printed off half an hour before the meeting. So there's always a positive. There's always a reason why these things happen. First of all, there's a letting go opportunity. It helps us to see another part of our ego and let that go. But often there's a tangible benefit that we can't see at the time, because we're so blinded by our negative thinking about the particular situation. Which leads me nicely into today's quote, which is by a young Nepalese writer called Santosh Kulwar, and it's about addiction. It's about the fact that what we're really addicted to is our thoughts. So he said, we are addicted to our thoughts. We cannot change anything if we cannot change our thoughts, which I think is a great quote. It gets right to the heart of the issue. Truth is, we're all addicted to our thinking, mostly negative thinking, because the majority of people's thinking is negative. But we're addicted to the process of thinking. I had an interesting conversation yesterday at the clinic that we're running this mindfulness trial program in, and one of the nurses there was saying, well, you can't not think. My mind has always been thinking. And so how can we do this breathing and expect not to think? Which is a very interesting question. So in Western philosophy, we've been taught one of the foundations of modern Western philosophy is René Descartes' famous saying, "I think, therefore I am." And I mentioned that to him, and I said, but actually that's not true, because there's something beyond thought. It's very clear that we can go into a state where we're not thinking. So therefore it can't be true. When we go into deep sleep, we don't think. If we go into a deep state of meditation, we're not thinking. So therefore there must be something else besides our thinking that gives us an existence, that gives us life. And it's that essence, that formlessness, the unmanifest, love, God, call it whatever you want, that ultimately all the great spiritual teachings are pointing us to, a state beyond thought, beyond our normal habitual patterns of thinking, which lead to habitual patterns of behavior that we're really addicted to. The world is addicted to these things, and we see those addictions playing out. In fact, our whole economy is designed around satisfying people's addictions, which come really from their thoughts. And so Santosh Kulwar says, we can't really change anything until we really are willing to look at our thinking and change it, and substitute it for more positive thoughts, which is what I did say to this chap at the clinic. You can think more positive thoughts, but you can also go into a state where you're not thinking. And that's what all mindfulness and meditation is actually designed to do, is to quiet the mind, to go into a place where we're not thinking. And in that state, we find that we can experience peace, happiness, joy. They are just there. Our thinking tends to obscure those. So you could argue that all thinking is negative to an extent, because it obscures or covers over our true nature, which is perfect, formless, love, peace, joy. All these things lie in that. So he's right to an extent. We can't stop our thinking entirely. But what we can do is we can learn to train our minds to go into this place where we're not thinking, to be much, much calmer, much quieter at times. So that's the value of a meditation and mindfulness practice. And then from that place, having established that, we can now think much more positive thoughts. So instead of being addicted to the negative thinking that so often consumes us, makes us anxious, stressed, fearful, worried, all these negative emotions that unfortunately so many people dwell in, we can find a place where we're just at rest, we're calm, we're not having to think these thoughts. And when we do think, we use the mind pretty functionally. We use it to solve a practical problem in the moment, rather than neurotically thinking about the past or the future, which cannot be changed. So these are usually fairly pointless thoughts. Certainly thinking about the past is pointless because it can't be changed, unless you're thinking about it from the point of view of trying to learn and correct your thinking and behavior. And the future, well, you can plan for the future to an extent, but most of those plans are just worry in disguise. So usually the best way of approaching the future is just by being present, being in the now, and taking whatever action is appropriate now. So I hope this has given you some food for thought. Perhaps you're aware that it's your thinking that's driving you mad, that you're actually addicted to your thinking and your negative thinking, because most people are. That's the primary addiction of the world. And if you'd like to do something about it, I'd like to invite you to attend a free webinar that I'm doing this evening. So by the time you get this and you're watching this video, it'll probably be this evening, Thursday evening at 8 o'clock South African time, from 8 till about 9:30. I'll be running a free webinar on the art of letting go. So how do you let go of your negative thinking, stressful thinking, and find your flow? So how do you find that sense of underlying peace, happiness, joy, all of which combined I call flow? In a world where there's apparently a lot to worry about, a lot to be stressed about. And that's why it's an art, because it requires practice, requires dedication, requires training. So I'll be talking about, if you're serious about learning how to let go of your negative thinking, how you can actually do that. I'm running a 6-week course in September and October, which is designed to train you in the basics, fundamentals of letting go. And once you've done the 6-week course, you'll have a very good understanding of how to let go of any negative thought or emotion in any situation. Doesn't always mean it's easy to do, but you will have the training, you'll have the techniques, and that means that sooner or later you will choose to let it go. Just as I did with my situation where the server went down, realized what I was doing and managed to let it go, and then the situation resolved itself. So if you'd like to join me tonight for the Art of Letting Go webinar from 8 p.m. South African time, just go to theaolg.online. That's theaolg.online, and book your place. you'll get an email, very simple. You log in on a computer or tablet or phone, and you just need to download an app, but it's all done for you once you get the email and you click the joining link. So very simple technology. It works. You can join from anywhere in the world, and participate in the session. I'll also be doing a 10-step letting go process, so a little guided meditation, some breathing, and walking you through a 10-step letting go process. And I'll be giving, when you sign up for the webinar, you'll get the outline, the overview of that 10-step letting go process as a document. So some real value there. Go check it out, theaolg.online. You can see it on the screen now, and book your place if you're interested. Hope to connect with you then, and have an amazing day in the meantime. And to help you do that, remember that anything negative that seems to happen to you is really just another opportunity to let go and find your flow. Hope to catch you tonight. Speak to you soon. Bye for now.